What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here in my backyard, obviously doing some filming and bringing the vehicles to you. We got another one. This is one that actually many of you have asked me for. It's a 2022 Nissan Rogue. This particular one is the top platinum trim and all-wheel drive, but the big surprise is what's underneath this hood. But before we pop it open and let the cat out of the bag, let's talk about what's going on here. Nissan, they're doing something with their lineup, Rogue being one of those vehicles where they're going through them and they're redesigning them and they're making some major changes. Now, some of the models are just getting updates and refreshes, others are getting total redesigns, and there's even new stuff like the Nissan Ariya. When it comes to their bread and butter, the vehicle that they've been selling the most of, it's gotta be the Rogue. Over the years, it's changed in its shape and its size. You have the standard Rogue, you got a Rogue Sport, but guess what? Something new, like I said, is underneath the hood to maximize power, but also maximize fuel efficiency. Now, this compact crossover SUV class has some heavy hitters. Toyota RAV4, Mazda CX-5, Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage. Well, guess what? There's one key player that really aligns itself both when it comes to size, when it comes to technology, but when it also comes to power and also how that power is getting to the ground. Let's go ahead, let's compare this new 2022 Rogue to the mighty Honda CR-V. Let's go ahead, dive in and see which one is the better of the SUVs to buy with your hard-earned money. Let's go ahead and check it out. Right off the bat, the color. I think this blue, nice royal blue, matches the style of this particular vehicle. And like I was telling you, remember, we were the first to bring you the redesigned Rogue a few years ago. That was the beginning of their rampage through their lineup. Now, you're still gonna get that split light setup on the headlights. And this is very similar to what you find on the bigger brother, the Pathfinder. So we have our LED daytime running lamp and turn signal nicely placed in this aesthetically pleasing housing. You're gonna have your LED headlights, which are nicely illuminated for your viewing pleasure in this separate housing. Let me know how you feel about it. To be honest with you, it's higher than what you would find like on a Santa Fe or a Tucson, the way they have it separated like that. So I'm actually kind of digging the overall look. Massive corner air curtains to help flow that air around the side of the vehicle, and it gives it a nice aggressive look. And I think for sure, if you're comparing this, and we're gonna compare it to the 2023 CR-V, it does look more aggressive. Even though Honda changed up the front end of the business on the new CR-V, this definitely looks more aggressive. Now, as we come across that V-motion grille, that's part of their styling philosophy at Nissan. You could see the V. I wish they would have went with dark chrome. Shiny chrome, just to me, seems to be like on its way out. It reminds me of like a grandpa's car, a fuddy-duddy car. But it still pops nicely with the blue, but some dark chrome would have went even better. Now, you are gonna get the new updated Nissan badge. I like the way it's got that nice gunmetal gray finish and the silver with the Nissan name. We got a forward-facing camera, and this grille is unique to the platinum trim. Working your way down, we do have this large, functional open area, and you can see how they did the chrome accent along the bottom. One thing I would have liked to have seen is in this little spot right here on both sides, I would like to see an LED fog lamp. That's a zonk. That's like a cop-out. So I would like to see some LED fog lamps. But other than that, you could see the difference compared to the previous generations. Now, when we get up onto that low-slung hood, look at the great body lines. I mean, the hood matches perfectly with the top of the grille. You get a little bit of a rise, and then everything curves nicely to the side mirrors. When you come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So these wheels are specific to the platinum trim. And what you're gonna notice is you're getting a nice 19-inch wheel, machined aluminum, gunmetal metallic gray. If you compare this to the CR-V, you could also get those larger wheels. They are gloss black if you go with the optional ones, or they're a metallic silver if you go with the smaller 18-inch wheels. I'm actually digging the style. I think it's working. One thing I would have changed is on the Platinum trim is painted these fender flares. Either have them gloss black or paint them. I would rather have them color matched, and it would look pretty cool because they do have a nice flared effect. This is front wheel drive based, just like the CR-V, but this particular one is all wheel drive. So we do have a drive shaft getting the power to the rear wheels. Now, as we rise up, nice clean body lines, nothing stuck on. You're gonna have gloss black on the mirror caps. They do a great job with the turn signals, keeping them slim, 360-degree camera. And then Nissan was the first with the Ultima to bring the two-tone roof, the Ultima and the Maxima, a few years ago. And here on the Platinum trim, the blue with the black roof, it really makes it look classy. Silver on the roof rails, I think I would have just kept them gloss black. And in another area, like I said, just like up front, this shiny bright metal work, it would be nice if it was dark chrome. Let me know how you feel about it. Dark chrome, shiny metal, let me know. Color matched on the door handles, and then you'll notice how that side sill extends out, and you do have some chrome trim to match the trim on the front. You know what I'm gonna say about it, right? Dark chrome, I think, would have blended a lot nicer. Coming into the rear, I love this body line that comes off the door. Just like on the bigger brother, the Pathfinder, comes into that rear fender. You got your floating roof design, and then wrapping it all the way around the back. What do we got going on? You got that long, low roof spoiler with the gloss black shark fin antenna. You do have your LED taillights. Obviously, when it comes to the turn signals, they do have the old-fashioned bulb. I hope on the next generation, they do what the Tucson did, and they mount this underneath to kind of clean up the back. But you got the Nissan badge, the Rogue badge, Platinum, all-wheel drive, and then working all the way down, it's actually very clean, and I like that. Some of the chrome, it matches all the other chrome, but you know how I feel about the chrome. And then I'm digging the silver on the bottom here with the little nice intricate design. But why don't we go ahead? The big surprise is underneath that hood. Let's go ahead and pop what's underneath the hood of this Rogue. All right, guys, we got the hood popped open. You do have a prop rod. It's even Stevens, though. The Honda CR-V has a prop rod, so we're not going to zonk it. But there it is. That is the new piece of the puzzle. You'll see by the semi-tasteful engine cover the words VC and turbo. So we have a variable compression turbo. Now, before you get too excited and you say, wow, they took the turbocharged engine out of the Ultima, no. This one is a little different. It's a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder. It produces 201 horsepower, 225 pound-feet of torque. So think about that. That's more horsepower than the gas internal combustion engine version of the CR-V. Even though the CR-V has a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, it is made it to a CVT, but guess what? So is the Honda CR-V. 0 to 60 in this vehicle, 7.5 seconds. Now that may not sound like a big deal, but if you had the previous engine in the Rogue from last year, that has 0 to 60 in about 9 seconds. Top speed, 116 miles per hour. It weighs 3,650 pounds. And then guess what? The big news is almost 30 miles per gallon in the city, 35 on the highway, and we have the all-wheel drive. So think about that. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this 3-banger turbo and hear what the VC, the variable compression, sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Nissan Rogue Platinum trim, all-wheel drive. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, thank the heavens you finally got this car, because I'm about to go buy a Honda CR-V right now, but I really want to see what this Rogue, especially with that engine, is all about. I guess the big question is, how much is it? So this being the top trim with all-wheel drive, you're looking at MSRP of right around $39,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Definitely they raised the bar on this Rogue when they redesigned it. Soft touch material up top. I don't mind the two-tone tan because it brings what could be a very boring door panel to life. No gloss black around the switchgear. Door pocket is a little tight. So maybe one Costco hot dog and a cup of Coca-Cola to wash it down. Other than that, very tight space. Going from the door panel to the dash, there's more of that two-tone. Love the stitching, soft touch material. This simulated dark wood is looking great. We got the Bose sound system, and then we got that 9-inch infotainment system. Now what's interesting is we're going mano-a-mano in this comparison because guess what? For 2023, the CR-V you could get with a 9-inch system, but this one obviously has your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You got your cameras. They did a heck of a job on the resolution. This is the one out the front with trajectory, the 360. I'm gonna throw it into reverse. There's our backup camera, same story with the trajectory. So I'm digging the resolution. It's actually better resolution than what's on the Honda, which is really, really nice to have in this vehicle. Then you bring up your menu. Takes a few seconds there. That kind of worried there a little bit. I was a little worried on the delay, but you could scroll through all the different things that they got, pull up your sports, traffic, weather, even your stocks. You can see how your Enron stocks are doing. Now working your way down, more of that stitching, your AC vents. We do get dual climate control, which is nice. Heated seats, but no ventilated seats. That's a zonk, especially the way they give me a blank button here. That's a zonk at $40,000. I do like the wireless charging with the ambient lighting, your start-stop button, USB-C, USB-A, and a 12-volt. You'll see the stitching, and then guess what? If you have a sack of potatoes with you, you could put a small sack of potatoes. You could even put a bag of grapes, apples, or yes, you could put your purse, your purse, your sack, your satchel, whatever you got down there, your fanny pack. 2 cup holders. I do like this finish because look, no fingerprints, and you get the new updated, upgraded Nissan key fob. I like the way they changed it up. Electric shifter, it is for a CVT transmission. You do, though, as you slide your way back, have your mode selector knob. I'll show you more of that on the business end. And then watch this. Bombs away! You actually have a button in here. It's really weird. A button to actually change the ambient lighting in here, the colors. You have a little place for some coins, some tokens, and then you could probably put, I would say, 6 My Little Ponies. I know you're saying, well, Joe, did you have My Little Ponies? No, but I grew up with 3 younger sisters, and all of them had My Little Ponies. You could put 6 of them in there, and even put those little brushes and combs that you comb their hair and stuff. It's kind of weird watching my sisters do that. But anyways, close it up, seats. Love the soft material, perforated. Look at the way they brought some different colors, some stitching. You do have electric assist for the passenger. Of course, we have electric assist for the driver. And then we got that panoramic sunroof, one-touch operation. Watch how I close it. Look at that, no hands. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Rogue. Right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do get 2 memory seat settings. I do like the aluminum sill plate. And yes, the Rogue name does light up at night to greet you. You got your seat controls, including the lower lumbar. And then I'm 6 feet tall. You got plenty of headroom, even with the sunroof. There's that extra headroom. Steering wheel. It looks like it should be in a GTR. Flat bottom, leather wrap with the contrast stitching, flat black on the buttons. You'll notice that there are paddles behind the wheel, but that's for simulated gears because we have a CVT. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have that large digital display. New for 2022 with that boost gauge, the power and the eco. And I like the way you have all the graphics and colors. And on top of that, there's a head-up display as well. So they're definitely bringing the technology. Let's see if they bring the space in the back seat of this Rogue. Hey guys, back seat time. You have that wonderful material all the way around. Nice pockets. And you know what you could keep back here? A couple of those little books that you get from the Girl Scouts with the Girl Scout cookies and the ordering sheets. That way you could order like your Samoas, your Do-si-dos, those Thin Mints. And then the great news is, after you get your order in, then you could use all the storage space in here to store them, so you could have your munchies as you're driving in case you get the munchies. Back seat area, we got our rear AC vents, which is nice. You actually can control the temperature, and you get 3 stages of heated seats, USB-C, USB-A. I got a nice amount of room back here. Even got the manual security shades, especially if you have kids in the back seat and you got weirdos staring at you. Or maybe you borrow mom and dad's car and you're making out in the back seat. You got to think of these things. Nissan's got your back. Ooh, look at that. Super soft on the armrest, 2 cup holders. Look at the stitching. That almost looks like something, no joke, like out of an Audi, the way that they did the stitch work there. But why don't we go ahead, let's see how much cargo space we have in this compact crossover SUV. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Many people would think that you hit here. No, you got to put your hand down here, hit that button. Nice electric assist, opens up quickly. And what you're going to be greeted to is actually quite a lot of usable space. First of all, I want to point out how you have these nooks. On this side, you could put a loaf of bread. And on that side, you could actually put a gallon of buttermilk right underneath that first aid kit. And if you're worried about the first aid kit getting in the way of your buttermilk, bam, look at that. Now the first aid kit's on the driver's side. If you're wondering, well, how much room, Joe, do we really have back here? You're looking at 39 cubic feet of space. Now, there's 2 cool things I want to show you. You could actually maximize your space very easily. Take the floor, the whole floor will drop down. So just to show you the difference between the 2 levels here, this part of the floor also drops down, but I wanted to just showcase that. And it's actually fairly easy to put right back together. And then to put the seats down, it's real simple. Right by our first aid kit, you do have a 12 volt. So that's where you're definitely not going to want to stick your finger or any other body part. And then to get the seats down, we got a 60-40 split. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, alakazam, boom. Look at how nice it folds down. Super flat. Love the way they got the handles. Conveniently placed. Now you just maxed out over 53 cubic feet of space. And the great news is you could get a standard size blow-up mattress back here, an air mattress. So in case, I don't know, you get kicked out of the house or something, you could live in the back of your Rogue. Or you could take a road trip and save all that money on hotels. Who needs to take a shower? Who needs a flushing toilet? Be one with nature. Right there, that could be your shower. That could be your toilet. And you could sleep in the Rogue. But why don't we go ahead? I'm not going to sleep in the Rogue, and I'm definitely not going to the bathroom in there. I'm ready to go on throttle and see how this new turbocharged 3-cylinder goes down the road in this Rogue. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Nissan Rogue Platinum trim, all-wheel drive, and the biggest news is that 1.5 liter, 1.5 liter, that's 1.5, 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 3. Now, right away, the first thing you notice in this Rogue are the materials, and definitely when comparing it to the CR-V, this does feel fancier, especially with the soft touch everywhere, the seating. Getting to the infotainment system is well within reach. But the bigger news is that variable compression turbo. Now, one thing that's really great about this Rogue is you do have your mode selector knob. Obviously, we're going to put it in sport mode, and that's going to change the parameters of how the engine, the transmission, steering, throttle sensitivity, how all that comes together. But why don't we try a little bit of an on throttle here on a curved area of the road. On throttle, here we go. All-wheel drive, getting the power to the ground. It's just the CVT, the noise it makes, and the less engagement I feel, just, it doesn't work. Now, it does have simulated shifts, which does help keep the revs from just like booming when you're on throttle, But other than that, it is a little bit of a disconnect feeling. Now, you do have a head-up display, and it's so easy to read the graphics and everything that's on your digital gauge cluster. And handling, you know, it's not a race car, but it does have pretty good feedback coming through the steering wheel. Visibility out the back is great. Side mirror is nice. Of course, you have that 360 shield protection from Nissan with all the safety features, the lane keep assist, the blind spot monitoring, the emergency brake assist. And then say what you want about these iPad style infotainment screens. It is very easy to see and read and very easy to get to. I'm gonna come to a dead stop here. Nobody's behind us. We're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So it is pretty responsive off the line. I just would love to see how this whole SUV would drive with the ZF 9-speed automatic that is in the Pathfinder. I think that is that one last piece that needs to be plugged into this puzzle to get the big picture. But steering feels great. The actual wheel material is nice. The leather that they use. Seats are comfortable. Remember, these are zero gravity seats. What does that mean? No, that doesn't mean you could go into outer space with this vehicle. It means that NASA actually worked on the seats to make them feel like you were on the surface of the moon or in space with zero gravity, where they're that comfortable. It's just, there's a little bit, like I said, of a disengagement between the transmission and the engine. And the engine is actually very responsive, especially for that 3-cylinder. And I know a lot of people be like, well, it's a 3-cylinder. What do you expect? I think that if it had a better transmission, it would actually be even more receptive to that on-throttle input than it is currently. All right, guys, pulling away from the light, you know, it does have nice throttle sensitivity to where it's not too snappy. That's a nice touch, but going on throttle, like I said, it's just that CVT is holding it back. I feel like the turbo wants to get up and go, and yet the CVT is kind of hindering that a bit. But I don't know, man. It's interesting how the Rogue has come a long way. And really, when you're comparing it to the new CR-V, at least from the interior standpoint, I feel like they definitely are going toe-to-toe when it comes to materials and fit and finish. But I want to get this out onto the highway. Let's go on throttle here. I know normally I yell on throttle. It's a little less inspiring in here. But we're on throttle. We're going uphill. So, very, very smooth. They did a great job with the sound deadening material in this vehicle. And you can't argue with those MPGs. I mean, almost 30 miles per gallon in the city for a compact crossover SUV with all-wheel drive, that's very, very respectable. But here we are cruising down the road, and it's actually quite comfortable. Not too much road noise, definitely not a lot of wind noise. And then, like I said, everything is well laid out. You got plenty of storage for all your stuff and your snacks. And you got the Bose sound system. I am gonna zonk the old-fashioned light bulbs that they use for the interior lights up top. That's definitely something that should be LED. And I kind of think that a black, not to be nitpicky, but I think a dark, in particular a black headliner, would actually make this feel even a little bit more higher level fit and finish. But we're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here with this 2022 Nissan Rogue with that new power plant. Definitely want to thank the whole crew over at Nissan for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Was this a crazy decision to go with a smaller engine, literally smaller, with one less cylinder, but have more horsepower and better fuel economy? Is this the better one to go with over the CR-V? Let me know how you feel in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rise family. We got to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography, working the camera, whether the engine's big, small, or anywhere in between. He's bringing the shots. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.